Hey Bears fans, today we're diving into all the latest updates surrounding our Chicago Bears, breaking down every development, injury update, and strategic question that has been sparking debate among fans. Let's start with a topic that's been on everyone's mind, Kyler Gordon. Right now, he's out on short-term injured reserve for at least another week. And while the hope is always that he returns sooner rather than later, the reality is we don't know exactly when he'll be back. That said, there's been a lot of chatter about whether he should slide into the outside corner position once he's healthy again. It's a tricky situation because on the inside, C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been nothing short of phenomenal at the nickel spot. He's versatile, no doubt, a hybrid of nickel corner and safety, and the energy he brings to this defense is undeniable. Removing him from the field just doesn't make sense. He has earned his role and has been arguably the team's best defensive player this season, bringing a level of intensity that has been contagious. So the question becomes, if you're trying to get both Gordon and Gardner-Johnson on the field, how do you do it? Gordon has seen snaps on the outside before, especially in base packages, so at least experimenting with that alignment makes sense. You want to find a way to get both of these dynamic playmakers involved because they each bring unique strengths to the defense. It's not an easy puzzle, and it will be interesting to see what adjustments the coaching staff makes to accommodate them both. As far as starting positions go, if both are healthy, Gardner-Johnson likely keeps the nickel role simply because he's been delivering consistently and has the momentum on his side. Gordon has the talent and experience to eventually take over larger responsibilities, but health and timing have kept him from reaching that point this year. Moving on to some roster and trade speculation, there's been talk about whether DJ Moore or Cole Kmet could be moved in a deal for high draft capital. Realistically, that's a tough ask. Moore is approaching 30, Kmet is in his late 20s, and neither is necessarily commanding first-round trade value at this stage in their careers. Even if you assume Moore has a solid season, racking up around 800 yards receiving with 5 touchdowns and additional contributions in the run game, you're probably looking at a trade value in the 3rd or 4th round at best. Kmet is a strong blocker and could see increased productivity as the primary receiving tight end, but his current contract isn't extreme enough to drastically shift trade value. So while you could theoretically bundle them in a trade with mid-round picks, expecting a first-round selection in return is likely unrealistic. The market tends to overvalue players based on recent performance, and realistically, teams would be weighing age, contract, and upside against draft capital, making any blockbuster trades of this nature very difficult to pull off. That said, both Moore and Kmet are important pieces of the offense and remain integral to the Bears' strategy going forward. Another hot topic has been the situation in Detroit with Dan Campbell taking over play calling. It's fascinating because it highlights the challenge of replacing elite coordinators when a head coach is effectively running both the team and the offensive strategy. Promoting from within on the defensive side while making unconventional moves offensively has raised eyebrows. For a team in the middle of the season, 5-3, having the head coach step into play calling is an unusual move, and it could signal a shift in philosophy or just a temporary solution to a personnel change. Imagine Week 18, with NFC North stakes on the line, and Campbell calling plays against a team coached by his former offensive coordinator. It adds an extra layer of drama to the division race and could be fascinating to watch unfold. The decision also underscores the challenges of being a head coach in today's NFL, balancing administrative duties with the strategic minutiae of play calling. It will be intriguing to see how Detroit adapts as the season progresses. Switching gears to individual player evaluations, there's been a lot of discussion about Caleb Williams and his throwing style. While he can sometimes get revved up and throw the ball with extra velocity, that's not necessarily a bad thing. High-intensity throws are part of what makes a quarterback capable of stretching the field and challenging defenses, even in suboptimal weather conditions. That said, when it comes to throws in the 10 to 15-yard range, sometimes that extra force isn't necessary, and touch passes can be more effective. Williams has shown he is capable of delivering precision throws when the situation calls for it, connecting on corner routes with proper timing and placement. The ability to adjust velocity, depending on the target and situational need, is crucial, especially in windy or cold conditions where ball control can be tricky. Players on the receiving end need to be ready, but ultimately, execution falls on the quarterback to balance power and accuracy. Looking at the Bears roster and contract decisions, Jaquan Brisker has been a standout in terms of leadership and impact on the field. If you're managing the team as Ryan Poles, the consideration might be for a team-friendly extension, something in the range of $5 to $6 million for 1 year. Brisker's value is as much about leadership and locker room influence as it is about on-field production. He has been relatively consistent this season, avoiding injuries that could have affected availability, but overpaying is a risk. Comparing Brisker to other safety options like Jaquan Bard, the approach would likely be to pick one of the two based on cost-effectiveness and then potentially draft or sign additional depth to complement the safety group. C.J. Gardner-Johnson could even slide into a secondary role as part of this strategy once Kyler Gordon returns to the nickel position, ensuring that the defense maintains versatility and high-impact players on the field at all times. Defensively, the Bears have had some struggles, particularly in coverage situations. Sula, for instance, has been strong in run support, but struggles laterally and in pass coverage. This is typical of backup linebackers who specialize in one area of play. When it comes to adjustments, the team may be hesitant to rely heavily on him in passing downs, but his contribution in stopping the run has been a valuable asset. Injuries and positional limitations have forced the coaching staff to make difficult choices, balancing the strengths and weaknesses of each player to maintain competitive performance. Finally, questions around special teams and coaching decisions remain in the spotlight. Evaluating kickoff returns and other situational play decisions is complex, and while some performances have been subpar, it's often best to let the season play out before making changes mid-year. Finishing strong and evaluating coaching decisions based on the full context of season tends to provide a clearer picture of what adjustments may be necessary moving forward. Decisions about firing or retaining coaches, adjusting responsibilities, and integrating players back from injury all require a comprehensive perspective that balances immediate performance with long-term strategy. The NFC North race is shaping up to be highly competitive. While Detroit may have a slight edge in terms of raw talent, Chicago is in the mix and capable of making a playoff push. The Packers remain a threat, but momentum, health, and in-season adjustments will all factor into how the division ultimately shakes out. The Bears have a chance to be part of the wild card conversation, and every game from here on becomes crucial. With so many moving pieces, injuries, rotations, player development, and tactical decisions, the season is far from decided, and Chicago fans have plenty of reasons to stay engaged and optimistic about the team's potential in the coming weeks. Now, diving deeper into the Bears season, there are some pressing questions about how the roster will evolve as the year moves forward. Injuries, as always, play a pivotal role in determining which players see the field and in what capacity. Kyler Gordon's eventual return will shift some alignments, but the coaching staff will need to balance that with the performance of players like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who has not only excelled in his role, but has become a cornerstone of the defense. His ability to cover, tackle, and make game-changing plays has been essential for the team, and it's clear that removing him from the field would weaken the defensive unit significantly. Gordon, meanwhile, brings versatility and speed, and if he can slot into the outside corner or nickel position effectively, it could give the Bears a more dynamic secondary. The challenge will be ensuring that both players' strengths are maximized without disrupting the chemistry that has developed in recent games. The conversation about depth and positional flexibility doesn't stop there. The Bears' linebacker core has had mixed results, particularly when backups are called into action. Players like Sula have proven themselves in run support, but limitations in lateral movement and coverage have highlighted the need for better rotation and situational awareness. Backup linebackers often excel in one area and struggle in others, which is why game planning around matchups becomes so important. The coaching staff has to carefully manage these rotations, making sure that the team is both protected against the pass and able to control the run. In some cases, that may require relying on hybrid players who can step into multiple roles, even if it means slightly compromising in one area to strengthen another. The ability to adapt quickly to opponent strategies has been a recurring theme for the Bears this season, and it will continue to be critical as they approach the final stretch of games. Offensively, there are interesting dynamics at play as well. Players like DJ Moore and Cole Kmet have had productive seasons, but questions about long-term trade value and positional impact remain. Moore, with his experience and production, has proven himself as a reliable target, but age and contract considerations may limit his trade value. Kmet, a strong blocker and capable receiving tight end, can continue to develop into a more prominent offensive option if given consistent opportunities. The challenge for management is balancing these players' contributions with the need to build for the future. Trades and acquisitions are always tempting, but realistically, teams need to weigh immediate talent against draft capital and long-term strategy. Even if rumors circulate about high-value trades, the reality of the market often tempers expectations. For now, the Bears will likely focus on leveraging these players' strengths while keeping an eye on potential upgrades through the draft or free agency. Quarterback play has also been a major storyline. While Caleb Williams isn't on the Bears, discussions about quarterback tendencies and throwing style provide insight into what teams look for at the position. The balance between arm strength and touch is critical. Throwing hard can energize a play and stretch defenses, but precise placement on shorter routes often requires a softer touch. Handling extreme weather conditions, timing with receivers, and avoiding unnecessary turnovers are all part of the complex decision-making process quarterbacks face every game. These principles apply across the league and are particularly relevant for teams like the Bears, who need efficient quarterback play to maximize the impact of their skill players and keep the offense moving consistently. Contract considerations remain a hot topic as well, particularly with young players like Jaquan Brisker. His leadership and on-field impact make him a valuable asset, but management has to be strategic about financial commitments. Offering a team-friendly extension allows the Bears to retain leadership while maintaining cap flexibility for other positions. When evaluating players like Brisker, the balance between production, leadership, and market value is delicate. Overpaying could hinder future roster moves, while underpaying risks losing a key figure in the locker room. Ultimately, strategic contract decisions like these are a reflection of a team's long-term planning as much as immediate performance, and how the Bears handle these situations will shape the roster for years to come. Special teams have also generated conversation. Kickoff returns, coverage, and in-game situational decisions have been inconsistent at times, highlighting the importance of execution in less glamorous but equally critical aspects of football. Even small errors or missed assignments in special teams can shift momentum and impact field position, which in turn affects both offense and defense. Coaches must weigh performance trends, adjust responsibilities, and integrate younger players to maintain efficiency. Decisions about keeping or replacing staff are often made at the season's end, depending on results and overall execution. For the Bears, this could mean evaluating performance, adjusting coaching assignments, and ensuring that each player understands their role within the team's broader strategy. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There's a storm brewing in the NFL media world, and it's circling right over Chicago. During a recent broadcast, veteran play-by-play announcer Joe Buck made comments about the Chicago Bears that have fans and analysts buzzing. While Buck is no stranger to controversy, his tone this time seemed sharper, his words a little more pointed, and Bears Nation hasn't taken it lightly. According to several viewers, Buck's remarks went beyond typical on-air criticism. He reportedly questioned not just the team's on-field performance, but also the organization's direction and identity, suggesting that Chicago has lost the toughness and discipline that once defined them. The comments were casual enough to pass as offhand remarks, yet cutting enough to ignite a wave of online backlash. Within minutes, social media timelines lit up with Bears supporters accusing Buck of bias, while others defended him for just telling the truth. Behind the scenes, insiders claim that Buck has long been frustrated with how certain franchises are handled by the media, and that his remarks about Chicago may have been a reflection of broader tensions in NFL broadcasting circles. Some even speculate that his partnership in the booth might have influenced his tone, hinting at an unspoken narrative between commentators about the league's problem teams. Chicago's locker room, meanwhile, has reportedly taken notice. Though no player has gone on record, whispers suggest that Buck's comments are discussed internally, and not kindly. For a team still trying to reclaim its old swagger, being publicly dismissed by one of football's most recognizable voices only adds fuel to an already simmering fire. Whether Buck intended to spark a media storm or simply spoke his mind, the fallout has become the week's biggest off-field storyline. In a league where perception can shift overnight, one broadcaster's jab has turned into a full-blown talking point, and Chicago, once again, finds itself at the center of the noise. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.